This man quietly extended a homemade iron hook out through the cell door. He was attempting to escape. The man was extremely careful not to make any sound, not daring to alert the guard outside. With help from the inmate across from him, Jack successfully hooked the latch. He successfully opened the window on the door. Jack carefully lowered the panel. However, just as he was about to open the cell door, a guard suddenly rushed in. Only after locking the door did the guard finally breathe a sigh of relief. Seeing this, the inmates instantly became nervous. They immediately asked what had happened, but the guard didn't answer and instead walked straight to the first aid kit. He took out alcohol and gauze, then gritted his teeth through the pain as he poured alcohol on his injured thigh. This sudden scene interrupted Jack's escape attempt. He could only return to his cell and continue observing the situation. However, just then, the sound of an electric drill suddenly came from outside the door. Clearly, someone outside was trying to force their way in. The guard immediately walked to the monitor to check the situation. He just caught sight of a person in black pulling out the camera. Before the guard could react, Jack immediately ran out. He was planning to steal the keys from the guard. Although the guard pulled the cell door shut in time, Jack managed to wedge his foot in the door. He shoved the guard aside and the two immediately began fighting. Because the guard had an injured leg, he was no match for Jack. At the critical moment, the guard immediately pulled out his gun, which successfully stabilized the situation. The guard tried to lock Jack back in his cell. However, just then, a pungent smell spread throughout the entire prison. An inmate discovered in horror that the floor had been doused with gasoline. Before he could react, the gasoline on the ground was instantly ignited. The fire immediately spread in all directions. If they didn't take action, everyone would die there. Seeing this, the guard immediately grabbed a fire extinguisher to put out the fire. But unfortunately, the old man was ultimately burned to death. When the guard looked up again, he discovered that Jack had taken advantage of his distraction to open all the cell doors. The guard immediately drew his gun, trying to control the situation, but the inmates, emboldened by their numbers, were gradually closing in on him. The guard was slowly backed into a corner. Just as tensions reached a breaking point, the guard's walkie-talkie crackled to life. A strange man's voice came through from the other end. However, he told the inmates a shocking piece of news.